Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this video kind of short and sweet because cold as balls out. Hoping it can heat up because I have a lawn test menu mower. Da 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 da. Yeah. Oh shoot! I don't even think No, I've shown the 8243AE here, but this is my 10243, I believe. Let's check. 10523. I was close. My 10427 at my mom's house is what confused me. This is my new 10423. 10523. That I picked it up on Thursday. I don't know why the guy sold it. It runs perfect. It's a bit hard to start, but I can live with that. It'll be getting plenty of use, which should clean up the carburetor. It runs a little lean. When I went to clean out the muffler, I looked at the piston. It's got a few little scuffs on it, but nothing that'll depreciate its value or performance. Now I noticed when I was engaging the transmission, because this is one fancy mower, I noticed when I engaged the transmission it bogged down. And I looked in the transmission, most of the grease in it hasn't even been touched, because this thing has so few hours on it. So I just gobbed in a little bit more grease. Granted, it's probably a little too thick for this transmission, but it no longer bogs down. I cleaned out the muffler. There was nothing in the muffler that could have blocked it up and reduced performance. But anyways, to the main point of the video. Why I love these lawn boys. Now, I'm in a few Facebook groups just because these mowers have a cult following, of which I am now a part of. So, now what makes these mowers so much better than your average Briggs Classic? Now, don't get me wrong, Briggs Classics are amazing. They're an amazing engine. They last forever. They're built like a tank. This engine had damn near no compression. Oil was flooding into the cylinder. I almost ran it out of oil. Most of the abuse happened outside of my care. I found it on the edge of I found it on the edge of the road. But I cleared out the carburetor. By that I mean, while there was dirt in it, I sprayed carb cleaner in it, and I just let it suck the dirt through because I knew this engine was trashed anyway. Still ran, did what it needed to do. It originally came on the deck that one was on, but I just flip-flopped them because I like the steel deck better than the one with the plastic ends. And even my oh-so-reliable Tecumsehs, of which Lawn Boy used at one point after they stopped using OMC. When I reassembled this, I put the oil pump in upside down. The cylinder scored the hell. Since it was using a 140cc carburetor on a 160cc engine, it wasn't getting enough fuel, so it scored the cylinder more. It got hot before I even messed that up, and the deck of the block was warped, so it wasn't holding head gaskets. So I just took the old block that my neighbors gave me from their Tecumseh and put it on. It's the original block that the carburetor was on. It should last forever. I put the oil pump in the right way because I looked at diagrams. This thing set for a lifetime. But why, even though this engine is perfect, it can both side discharge and mulch, why do I still use these Lawn Boys? Well, for one, they can bag. This one has nowhere it can bag. These ones look like they don't either, but these little plates, they just come right up, and then you can put that chute in. And I actually think I have the chute that I actually use at my mom's house, but I've got two because the person who sold this mower gave it to me for the price that they put on the new battery for, as well as they gave me two side discharge bagging assemblies, which go for $250 each. I'm not gonna tell them. Now, the reason why I love these is not only that, but every self-propel system they use is reliable as they're reliable as hell. The A243AE, it's got the capstan drive system. You can lock the handles like this, or you can just pull up on that. It locks those little spinning rollers onto the wheels, and then it propels itself forward. Now it looks really unique, and that's something I love about it. This one's got a more basic drive system. I do like how cool the capstan drive is, but it's got a neutral, and it's got the bail arm. And the bail arm isn't like weirdly out of reach or hard to get, because I know I've had a few mowers where in order to grab it I've had to go like this, further down more. Didn't like that. I thought I wouldn't like this one because it's got that bail lever for the self-propel, but no. Actually, if there's something I might do, I might find a way to get rid of this slack, so it just stays up like this so I can grab it really quick. But it's got a 3-speed transmission. I know this isn't the original pull starter because I'm the one that put it on, because the original bail handle broke and the original pull starter handle broke. Not in my care, but the owner was wrapping it around this bagging arm, of which I don't have the bag or the chute for, whenever he was done pulling it over. So I just put a new one on. Clank this and this thing goes. So there's one thing, when I went to put the transmission together, I might have done it wrong. Because if I put this all the way forward, it doesn't engage, but as soon as I pull it back, then it goes right into third gear. I like how it's got all the controls up here. It's kind of like my Honda, just better. And these F engines, they're built to last a lifetime. But although these D600 engines are older and aren't built to the same types of specifications, they're still built really well. This thing starts in one pull. This thing right here holds good compression and all that. This thing's electric start. I mowed with this one, then I mowed the backyard with this one yesterday because I hadn't ran it in a few weeks and I needed to charge the battery. And I wasn't sure if it had an alternator or not, so I asked some people on Facebook, and they said, oh, apparently all engines, all of them that have an F engine have an alternator, so they'll charge up when you run them. I was like, oh, cool, but I wonder if there's any way I can actually confirm just to be sure. And someone else commented, the A in AE means alternator and electric start. And I was like, oh. So that was nice. Now, if there's one thing I prefer about this model over every other mower I have, it's that it doesn't stop running when I walk away. Although with this one, it's a non-problem because I just crank it over once and it'll fire right back up. As for this one, to restart it, how far I need to pull the cord out, 1 rotation of the engine. If I pull it out this far, just this far, while it's still running, sometimes it's more like this. While it's off and I need to restart it, it'll fire right back up. Like, no big deal. So this one, I don't mind restarting. Starting it up the first time can be troublesome. A lot of people said that this model doesn't have a primer bulb. The 10515 doesn't, but this is the 10523. And it has a primer bulb right here. Now, if there's one thing I don't like about getting these mowers, it's that the air filter is a little bit hidden on them because it looks more sleek. So a lot of people forget about that. These engines run regardless. They don't care. But there's one thing this mower's got going for it. is that it looks way more brutal. Dark green. This style carburetor. This muffler. It shows everything and how it works. These ones are a little bit more obscure. But there's a reason they're hard to find. I found this mower when the listing was 45 minutes old. I feel like if I was a minute later, I wouldn't have gotten it. Because these things are sought after, and according to a lot of lawn boy enthusiasts, the 10515, or just the Gold Series models in general, are their favorites. So I'm glad I found it. And despite it being commercial, I got it for less than this mower. $50. Granted, it did need a little bit of work, because it did have a few issues here and there. This throttle thing wasn't staying in place. But all I had to do to fix that was bend that little metal tab to fit under this little gap right there. And now it's perfect. I could probably talk about these things for hours. They're amazing machines. I'm happy I have all of them. I'm not so happy with my Duraforce because it just dumps gas right into the engine. Granted, this one has issues with that too sometimes, but the carburetor is old and we're going through extreme temperature fluctuations, so I've got to cut it some slack. But I ain't buying it a new one. Did you see how much new carburetors on these things go for? Over $100, and they're just plastic. When I got this one, I was like, ooh, because the carburetor was more of a gray color, I was like, oh man, maybe I finally got a metal one. No, it's still plastic. But whatever, I'll take what I can get. The lawn boy is a lawn boy. Cast aluminum decks, that's another thing I like about them. This thing probably weighs 35 pounds. It is light. You would get more of a workout carrying a few gallons of milk than mowing with this thing. Don't even get me started on mowing with these things since they're self-propelled. But in order to adjust the throttle on this thing, you gotta go way down there and adjust it. So you're gonna get a workout because you'll be chasing after it, because this thing does not joke around. This one's not self-propelled, so it's not got that going for it. But it does have a throttle, which came with this mower when we were using it when we lived in Mondovi around 10 years ago. I found another Tecumseh engine. Took the throttle assembly off of it, because this one, it was just like the cable was just attached to the throttle on the carburetor. There was no governor. So I put a proper throttle adjustment that links through the governor system instead of just directly to the throttle, which means the engine's not going to blow up as easy. I know this video is going to get like 0 views. It's going to have crap audience retention. I got to cut this off before I use up all my memory. See you later. I hope you enjoyed staring at these machines. And maybe one of these days I'll let you hear them run. I'm going to record a video with this one later and post it as a short if the snow ever stops. It's just a little bit. It's not enough to stop me from mowing. The neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but whatever, I don't care. As long as I'm happy, they can suck it. I just try to maintain some common sense. Don't run these things later than 8 p.m. unless I absolutely have to. And I don't try to run them before noon. And that's how I prevent my neighbors from hating me and just let them continue to think I'm crazy. There's your advice for the day. By the way, I might be putting this one up for sale on Marketplace to make up for the money I spent on this thing. Fix it up in small engines class was a bet with the teacher that I couldn't fix a weed eater in 20 minutes. he lost and I got to keep it. Bye-bye.